Yeah, cyber peace and simple words is, trying to achieve peace in the cyberspace, and it's via different forms. But generally, to achieve peace, there are multiple things. In fact, at cyber peace, we have different verticals. We have policy, advocacy, diplomacy as one of the vertical, research and innovation as the second vertical, and capacity building as the third vertical. So we feel the three major pillars that are connected to cyber peace. If somebody wants to, if we want to achieve peace in the cyberspace, there are three major pillars, and the fourth is basically a pillar that is cross-cutting all the three pillars that I mentioned, is collaboration and connect. So briefly, cyber peace for us, it's basically this. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for the insights on cyber peace, Vineet. So what you've said about collaboration is really important to promote cyber peace so that individuals, private economy, and politics work together, diplomats work together to promote cyber peace. So I would also like now to ask you about cybercrime and community engagement. Can you explain, could you elaborate on how cybercrime relates to peace building? Maybe also explain the differences between cybersecurity and cybercrime, and also what challenges you and the organizations you're supporting have faced in addressing these threats, these issues.
Yes. So again, good question, Nicole. Cybercrime, in fact, as cyberspace does not have boundaries, this has become one challenge when it comes to cybercrime, because the crimes that happen, they happen like may happen with an individual in, say, India or Africa, but the actual culprit is sitting in some country. So there are issues like we have the MLAT process as of now, for example. So under the MLAT process, it takes on an average 1 year for an individual, for the law enforcement to get the information from a foreign territory. By the time it is already late. If we get the information after a year, it's already very late. So this has become one major issue because the laws of the countries are different. There's no common laws that basically is there. All of these laws are different, and there are certain crimes, like for example, like one of the crimes is where we work is cyber-enabled trafficking, child sexual abuse. And these are the crimes where new and emerging tech today is being misused in various forms, where cryptocurrencies and other stuffs are being used. So it's becoming slightly difficult when you talk about cybercrime to kind of investigate the cases, and every day it's a challenge for the investigators to investigate such kind of a crime. So proper coordination is something that I feel is required, is the need of the hour, and something a quick response, basically quick response from maybe law enforcement agencies of the other country, and also international cyber law. If we have an international cyber law, though it's debatable, so some may agree that there's a need for international law, while some may not. Something of that kind, so that the response is quicker. Or either we need to have MLAT version 2, so that we have quick information sharing between the countries and with the investigators to quickly solve a crime. Otherwise, the cases are just increasing like anything, and this is what we have seen with many of the cases. Maximum cases are also unreported, by the way. The cases are people say maximum cases are unreported, and that's what our foundation also have come across, where the survivors, they come to us and they are of the opinion that they should not report the cases. So underreporting also becomes a challenge when it comes to cybercrime. And so basically these are the things. And recently, in fact, AI generated deepfakes, AI generated Gen AI, and other things which are being used to kind of defame a lot of individuals and organizations. Again, it is going on a rise. So such things are happening, and at a pace where it is very difficult for a law enforcement agency to catch up. While some of the agencies, some of the advanced research centers, uh, they are still able to do quite a bit. I mean, they investigate cases quickly. but there are some agencies which are way behind, and for them, investigation and all these things are still a challenge. Basically,
Yeah.
cybersecurity, what we say, it's quite broad. It's not something that I say that it's just security of the devices or security of the platforms. It's much more. It covers quite a lot, and especially we live in an era of IoT where we are surrounded by tech. Now, if you map your house today, and if you see on an average, there would be 10 to 12 connected devices in your home. And this is where cyber hygiene, cyber security comes into play, where as an individual, one needs to understand cybersecurity is a subject that every individual, basically any user, any individual who has basic know-how of tech, who is using digital platform in some way or the other, should have the basic know-how of cybersecurity 101 on how do you safeguard your platform, how do you safeguard your IoTs, your CCTV cameras, your basically smart TVs, smart washing machine, refrigerators. All of this has to be kind of secured in a proper way. Basic cyber hygiene is to be maintained on all these devices. That's very important. Then it comes your platform. Platform also needs to be safe, making use of the privacy and security settings. How can you make your platform safe? And if something goes wrong, how do you report? Where do you report? So, like I said earlier, also, people don't report if something goes wrong. So, this is very important that one reports such kind of crimes and kind of takes assistance of the law enforcement as quick as possible without delaying things. So, basically, in a nutshell, this is what cybersecurity is for a ordinary users. For enterprise, it is different. For enterprise, it is more to secure their infrastructure from cyber attacks, training their employees on cybersecurity, securing their digital devices that are there in the environment, whether it is database and all. For critical infrastructure, it is again the OT networks which are at risk today. So OT networks like SCADA, ICS, PLCs, they are under attack. Even certain critical infrastructures like the healthcare. And you must have heard about a case in India where one of our premier health institutions, AIMS, was attacked and a ransomware was deployed on the network. So because of that, things were totally, stopped. All the processes were stopped, and it created a lot of issues internally. So all of this, whether it is healthcare, whether it is energy, whether it is power, all these kind of networks need to be secured properly with basic minimum cybersecurity steps and controls that need to be there to create a safe and secure environment for everyone.
Thank you, Vineet, for your insights. You've already highlighted now the importance of addressing these cyber challenges and already mentioned some solutions. Maybe can you tell us more about what strategies peace-building organizations can use to protect themselves in the digital landscape and how they can address these cyber threats? Maybe you want to elaborate on this more.
Well, yes. So, in fact, CyberPeace has taken out a couple of booklets. That is basically there's one booklet which is cybersecurity for nonprofit. There's another one which we call Cyber Peace Essentials for healthcare and different institution. What needs to be done. So I'll be happy to share the booklet with you later. But yes, like I mentioned earlier, the peace building institutions are also under attack, under threat, and CyberPeace also, because we have been doing this research. We bust a lot of criminal groups who kind of run, say, banking frauds, loan frauds, instant loan scams, and like I mentioned earlier, the cyber trafficking of humans and basically wildlife that is happening through the cyberspace, and their networks which kind of share child sexual abuse material. So all of this, we bust a lot of things, and that's why we are kind of under attack at times. So what we do generally as a peace building institution, and basically would like to share some best practices, is having those necessary controls internally, whether it is like controls in terms of intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, enabling two-factor authentication across all emails, all essential services that we have, endpoint security that is required to secure the endpoints that the employees use. So these are some of the basic minimums that we have set up. Also, additionally, what we do is we have a cyber security strategy, and aligned to the strategy, we have the policy. All the individuals are trained on the strategy and policies. They're trained on the standard operating procedures, on different SOPs, on what they need to do when something goes wrong, when some incident happens, where to go, what actions to take. So all of that is something that we cover as a part of the strategy, then policy and different rules that come within that. So that's what we do, and essentially, like training of the employees, training of the team members, I feel is paramount because they should be aware that they can be targeted through multiple platforms, whether if they're on LinkedIn, our team members have been targeted on LinkedIn and other networks, basically on social media networks as well. So ultimately, training, if they're trained properly, then they get to know about how to handle and tackle such issues. So basically, this is what some basic minimum I'd like to share. And rest, there's a complete booklet on this which highlights CyberPeace essentials for non-profits, for different institutions, which covers all things that need to be there, and some sample policies, strategies that institution can adopt, and especially peace building institutions can adopt. So we have that. I'll be happy to share that link with you. In fact, CyberPeace works with industry, academia, civil society, and the government. So it's across. It's not just one kind of institution. It's across because there are many times where industry also approaches us for help. We are seen as an expert organization, like we are part of the Global Ransomware Task Force, the Stockerware Alliance, and others. So we are seen as an expert organization. So multiple stakeholders reach us. We're not limited to one kind of organization and all. So anybody, it can be an individual as well. So whether it's an individual or an organization of any size, from a small organization to a big organization, can reach out to us and we kind of support them in whatever form we can, whether assisting them on certain incidents or helping them to kind of launch some joint programs on cyber skilling, cyber awareness. We do all of that together with the institutions in partnership with that. Like recently, in fact, I mentioned that we launched a program with Google.org. We have been working with platforms like X, Meta, and others, Amazon, Cisco. So it's a bunch of cybersecurity companies who work with us. It's tech platforms who work with us, individuals who work with us, non-profits who work with us, UN agencies also work with us. So it's a combination of different organizations who kind of work with us and on different issues, like certain issues like we work closely with UNODC on wildlife trafficking. So there are different problem statements, but if any tech-based abuse is happening, uh, if abuse of tech in any form is happening, this is where CyberPeace comes into action. And we do a lot of activities in collaboration with different institutions.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. I think it's important to work together on an international basis. And we have talked a lot now about the cyber challenges. Maybe let's shift our focus to understanding how these challenges manifest differently in conflict areas. So we need what sets apart the cybersecurity challenges encountered by people in conflict zones from those in stable regions. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes, so what we generally believe at CyberPeace is every challenge is also an opportunity. And when we talk about tech-based challenges, like one of our flagship global initiative, we call it as Global CyberPeace Challenge. In fact, last edition saw participation from 112 countries, even CERT and cybersecurity agencies of different countries they participate. So what we do is we'll list out some of the important problem areas. Like one of the track one is focusing more on the cyber strategy side of things. What should be the strategy that the countries need to adopt when it comes to tackling tech-based offenses, cyber attacks, and others. So we have that track one. We involve the policymakers as well. CXOs, policymakers, tech teams, and all are involved. We give them different kind of challenges. For example, imagine a drone attack happening on your infrastructure. How would you respond to that kind of attack? This is one such example, but there are many more that is there. That's track one. Track two is basically a live hacking event. We have a IT track and we have a OT track. Again, we collaborate with very well-known organizations like CompTIA, SANS, and others who work with us on organizing IT and OT track. One is focused purely on IT networks, which basically peace building organizations can also join these particular track. The other one is OT, which is more of a critical infrastructure, power grids, and all that. Basically, it is for them to kind of assess and develop the skills also to kind of counter these kind of attack. And finally, the track three is a traditional hackathon, where we have 10 major problem statements every year, starting with DNS abuse, and then we have stalkerware, we have ransomware, different kind of problems that get listed. And as a community, as individuals, organizations, we all come together to kind of solve these pressing problems that the cyberspace has. That's the model that we kind of follow. Other than this, in fact, we also do cyber dialogues, cyber peace dialogues, regional dialogues, and then global dialogues are also done. During the G20, in fact, we organized series of dialogues again, which culminated into a summit where we compiled a list of suggestions that basically the cyberspace and countries needs to adopt. That was given as a recommendation on different policy issues, tech issues, capacity building issues. The complete report was given to the G20 Secretariat. So that's what we see. These are some of the ways where we can create an impact. And now this huge awareness, like you must have heard that UN has launched an AI committee. UN agencies, Commonwealth Secretariat, and others, they kind of understand importance of tech and the way, in fact, we need to kind of use the tech for something good. And if there's something harm that is being caused by the tech, how do we kind of counter that? So we work on both sides, on positive usage of tech and also to counter the harm that happens with the tech.
Okay, I really liked when you said that we want to use tech for something good, and also that every challenge is an opportunity, and not seeing, that to see a problem as a challenge and as an opportunity. I really like your way of thinking. And so you are talking about the how to use tech for something good. It's quite important in this nowadays global interconnected world. And as we're reaching also the end of our podcast, which brings me to my last question for you, Vineet, which is regarding digital empowerment. So could you explain how to enhance, like which are the strategies to enhance online participation for individuals who have who are not that digitally literate, who needs to get more digital skills? What are you doing in this area? And maybe you want to elaborate on this.
Yes. So the way, Nicole, we are working on is we do a lot of awareness program. Like I mentioned, we collaborate with tech giants, with cybersecurity companies, and do awareness and skilling program. In fact, we collaborate with different governments also to do skilling programs to get more people, one, aware about cyber, and getting more and more individuals to adopt cybersecurity as a career, also as a model where these tech knowing individuals are also engaged. They act like our master trainers. So the way we want to reach is we want to reach the last mile. We want to reach the areas that are not connected. In fact, reaching out to those areas where people have just started using tech in some form. And the best model that we see here, like just let me give an example of India only. It's like many countries in one country, India, and there are multiple languages and all that. So uh, I feel, and this is what the foundation feels, is cyber peace volunteers can actually disseminate skills, tech skills among basically the geography where they come from. And overall, that impact can be seen. I mean, we are planning digital resource hub, multilingual digital resource hub, where all these resources can be given to the individuals who are there, and encouraging reporting of the crimes. And there are many users who are first-time users of technology. For them, if a fraud happens with them, they lose basically the excitement of joining the tech space. So the way we want to pitch is, we want to protect them. We want to show them that things happen. But then tech is a great enabler. And we saw that during COVID times. It was tech only because of which we were all connected. We had, in fact, we could survive the COVID waves that happened. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to skill individuals on the ground, making them responsible digital netizens there. And again, they are basically the cyber peace, you can say, the ambassadors who are there on the ground, who are there to help and create an impact in the larger society where they live in. So this model has already taken off. Trainings have already started, and more individuals are joining the Cyber Peace movement through the Cyber Peace Corps initiative.
Okay, thanks a lot for your insights on this. I think, yeah, what you've said is you're doing a lot of awareness and also giving confidence to people to believe in tech and in their skills to, yeah, that they can use tech to have a positive impact on society. I really like this kind of mindset, and it's really important that we get more and more people who adopt tech career and who are confident that can work in tech as well. So thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts with us. I think we've learned a lot today about cyber peace and also the Cyber Peace Foundation. So thanks a lot for being here on our podcast today, Vineet. And to all our listeners, if you want to support the Cyber Peace Foundation's mission to achieve global cyber peace, just go on cyberpeace.org and also maybe volunteer there. And we are happy that you've joined us on this podcast today.